Whoever thought that being referred to in such an impersonal manner, such as being called the woman, could ever turn out to be almost complimentary? Well, the only place I've ever heard that to be true was when it came from Sherlock Holmes. That term is used to highlight Irene Adler's potent mysteriousness, but also Sherlock's confusion. Both adaptations of the Sherlock Holmes story containing Irene Adler shape her into a character that goes against gender norms. The version A Scandal in Belgravia gives more power to Irene Adler than A Scandal in Bohemia. One would like to think that the modern version is ultimately showing support for girl power by having Irene Adler being a strong dominatrix who is capable of capturing the heart of Sherlock Holmes. And although she is able to pull off many schemes and catch on to many of Sherlock's plans, the end of the story puts more emphasis on the rise and fall of Irene Adler because she consequently thinks more with her heart than her brain, which in turn keeps Sherlock in the spotlight of the episode. First, let's discuss how Irene in Belgravia is different than Irene in Bohemia. Irene in Belgravia makes it very clear to the audience that she derives most of her power by using her sexuality. After all, her professional title is the Dominatrix. In the original story, one had to understand that she lived a very scandalous life after retiring from the opera. Despite her occupation, the white rooms in her house suggest purity, yet the subtle hints of red on her, such as her lipstick and nail polish, act as a bold move against the social norms that an unmarried woman should be pure. This color contrast highlights her scandalous behavior as red stands out as a daring color. To emphasize her intent of wearing red, the camera slows down and zooms in on that specific element. In the episode, Irene Adler always enters the scene with some sort of slow motion, such as her nail grazing over a newspaper or slowly tapping her phone screen to end a call. The zoom in on the side of her face, moving in towards Sherlock, is repeated in order to get a reaction out of Sherlock. Even when she was going to him for help and wasn't dressed up, the same zoom in of her going to kiss his cheek showed how she could have an equally powerful effect over Sherlock anytime she wanted. Well, seems like all is going well, but how about a quick, simple home video demonstrating the infamous slow-mo zoom?
Every day I'm hustling, 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 every day I'm hustling.
Now that was my cousin. When editing this video, I purposefully slowed down the cards, or what he wished was cash, to emphasize how he was living in the moment and enjoyed making the cards rain. The zoom-in made it possible to show his animated facial expressions, where his wide eyes and grin expressed his true happiness. The combination of slow-mo and zoom catch every detail and give the audience a closer look to how the character is thinking. While the slow-mo was used for Irene, it also served a purpose to enhance the effects of Sherlock's intelligence. When approaching the stairs where Mrs. Hudson was grabbed, the scene goes into slow-mo to portray Sherlock's train of thought. It shows the viewer how he's able to piece together a puzzle in a short matter of time with only a few clues. Adler also brutally beat up Sherlock Holmes, while in the story she barely had any physical contact with him. She says, "This is how I want you to remember me, the woman who beat you," while the camera is angled up towards Irene Adler as if the audience was seeing her from Sherlock's point of view, looking up from the ground. This angle portrays a powerful effect because she's able to tower over him and then leave effortlessly as he is incapacitated by the drugs. Being set in a later era also brought the addition of new technology, which incorporated another angle that was not in the original story. The modernization gave all the characters literally more devices to work with. Irene's phone proved to be more significant than a simple photo because the phone can hold additional information and secrets. The increase in information heightened the sense of urgency and ultimately ended up playing into how the characters seemed more focused on their goal of keeping the phone away from one another. The original story of A Scandal in Bohemia ends with a very positive respect towards women because Sherlock admits that he's been outsmarted by Irene, yet will henceforth refer to her with respect. The episode of A Scandal in Belgravia rather makes changes to make Irene come off as more authoritative. The end of the episode differs by making Sherlock seem like more of the hero. Could this outcome be a way to satisfy the expectations of a modern audience who automatically assumes Sherlock will solve the mystery? Possibly. The episode leaves the audience with the greater impact that the story is centralized around him rather than the actual scandal. Watson mentions to Sherlock that people want to know you're human, yet Sherlock still solves the mystery despite everything Irene put him through.